Have you ever noticed that some cats seem to behave like quiet little security guards? They patrol the hallway at night. They sit near doors. They watch the windows like something important might happen out there at any moment. And if you live with a male cat, you may have seen something even stranger. He follows you from room to room, inspects new objects the second they appear. Sometimes sits right in the middle of the house, like he's conducting a small but very serious neighborhood surveillance operation. And if you've ever wondered about that behavior, you're not alone. Because male cats have a reputation. People say they're territorial, aggressive, independent, maybe even a little dramatic. But here's the curious part. A lot of what people believe about male cats is only half the story. Some of it is true. Some of it is exaggerated. And some of the most interesting things male cats do are happening quietly in the background, where most people never notice them. So today we're going to talk about the real patterns behind male cat behavior. Why male cats patrol. Why they bond the way they do. And why some of them seem to treat their humans like slightly confused members of their territory. And one of the habits near the end explains a behavior many owners mistake for affection, when it's actually something a little more strategic. So stick around, because once you understand these patterns, living with a male cat starts to make a lot more sense. 1. Male cats think in territory. Let's start with the trait male cats are most famous for, territory, but not in the dramatic king of the jungle way people imagine. For a cat, territory is more like a mental map. Doorways, windows, hallways, anywhere something might appear. Male cats tend to monitor these areas more carefully than females. That's why you'll often see them sitting in strategic spots, near entrances, at the top of the stairs, or by windows. It's not random. Those locations give them the best view of their surroundings. If you were a small predator living in a larger world, knowing what's happening around you would be pretty useful. And male cats take that job seriously. Sometimes a little too seriously, which explains why they might stare at the same corner of the room for 10 minutes. Is something there? Probably not. But from their perspective, it's always worth checking. And that constant awareness can start to look a lot like they're supervising you. 2. The house patrol behavior. Many male cats perform what owners casually call patrols. You'll notice it most in the evening. The cat walks slowly through the house, stops at a doorway, looks into a room, then moves on. It almost looks like a routine, and in many ways it is. Wild cats constantly check their territory for changes. New scents, new animals, new opportunities. Domestic cats still carry that instinct. So when a male cat strolls through the house inspecting everything, he's not bored. He's updating his mental map. That might include new boxes, moved furniture, or the mysterious grocery bag that appeared 3 minutes ago. These patrols often increase when something new enters the home, a guest, another pet, even rearranged furniture, which tells us something important. Male cats aren't just wandering, they're gathering information. 3. Male cats often bond differently. Many people assume female cats are more affectionate, but studies often show something interesting. Male cats often form strong bonds with humans. The difference is how they show it. Instead of constantly demanding attention, male cats tend to express loyalty through proximity. They stay nearby, follow you quietly, watch what you're doing. It's subtle but consistent. You move to the kitchen. A few minutes later, the cat appears. You sit at your desk. Eventually, the cat shows up again. Not always asking for anything, just being there. Some researchers think this comes from the social flexibility male cats developed in colonies, which may explain why many male cats act like quiet companions. And sometimes, that companionship overlaps with another instinct entirely. 4. The guardian illusion. If you've ever had a male cat sit near the door when you sleep, you may have wondered about something. Is the cat guarding the house? The honest answer is, sort of. But not exactly in the heroic way we imagine. Cats position themselves where they can monitor movement. Doors are high traffic zones. That's where things enter and exit. So from a cat's perspective, it's an ideal observation point. When your cat sleeps there, he's not thinking, "I must protect the humans." He's thinking something closer to, "This location provides valuable information." But the effect is the same. You wake up, and the cat is stationed by the door, like a furry night guard who works exclusively in naps. And this instinct ties directly into another behavior male cats are known for. 5. Roaming instincts. Male cats historically had larger territories than females. In the wild, male cats often travel farther, mostly for 2 reasons: finding mates and expanding territory. Unneutered male cats feel this instinct strongly, which is why they roam more. But once neutered, that behavior usually decreases dramatically. The underlying curiosity remains, which means indoor male cats still express the instinct in smaller ways. Window watching, door monitoring, investigating sounds. Basically, running a very serious neighborhood intelligence agency from the windowsill. But roaming instincts don't only influence movement, they also affect communication. And that brings us to a behavior many people misunderstand. 6. Scent communication. Male cats communicate heavily through scent, rubbing on furniture, rubbing on you, even headbutting your hand. This behavior is called bunting, and it releases scent from glands in the face. Many people see it as affection, and it is. But it's also communication. Your cat is marking familiar things as part of his safe environment. Think of it like little scent notes saying, "This is known territory." That's why cats rub the same places again and again: door frames, furniture corners, even your legs. You might just be standing there, and suddenly you're part of the house map. And interestingly, this behavior often increases when a cat feels secure. 7. Male cats are often more social than people expect. For decades, people believed cats were solitary animals, but research on feral cat colonies changed that view. Cats can form flexible social groups when resources allow, and male cats sometimes participate in those groups. They may share resting areas, tolerate other cats, occasionally even groom each other. That social flexibility can translate into strong bonds with humans, which is why some male cats act like loyal shadows. They're not being clingy, they're simply comfortable sharing space. And if you've ever had a male cat sleep near you, follow you, or sit quietly nearby while you work, you've probably experienced that dynamic firsthand. But there's one more detail that surprises many owners. Because male cats are not always the aggressive creatures people assume. In fact, some of the most relaxed, affectionate cats people meet turn out to be male. So when people talk about male cats, they often picture the stereotypes: the roaming tomcat, the territorial fighter, the independent loner. And yes, those instincts exist, but they're only one piece of a much larger picture. Male cats are observers. They patrol quietly. They map their environment. They form bonds in subtle ways. And sometimes they end up becoming the calm, watchful presence that quietly follows you from room to room. Remember earlier when we talked about house patrols? That slow walk through the hallway, the quiet check of every room, the brief pause by the door. That behavior isn't random. It's a small window into how your cat experiences the world. A world made of territory, information, and familiar individuals they trust. And if your male cat happens to be sitting nearby while you're watching this, there's a decent chance he's not just relaxing. He may simply be keeping an eye on things, making sure everything in his territory is operating normally. Anyway, I should probably go see why my cat is staring at the ceiling like he just discovered something extremely important. I'll talk to you next time. FurEver.